This is not nostalgia, this is a record. You are here because memory lies, but the body remembers. Have you ever wondered why, after 40 years of loyalty, you still feel like a guest in your own career? Why that low-grade fever of being disposable never truly left your skin, even in retirement? We are told that this modern anxiety, this constant tightening of the chest when HR calls, is just the way the world works. A natural law of the economy. It isn't. The insecurity you carry, the silence you taught your children to maintain to keep their jobs. It wasn't born, it was manufactured. It was surgically grafted onto the American nervous system in August of 1981. If you want to understand why the social contract was burned and who held the match, you must look at this record. We are going back to the moment the American worker was fundamentally altered. Not to weep for the past, but to finally name the ghost that has been haunting your dining room table for decades. Today, we place that memory back onto the table. The audit begins now. The year 1981 did not begin with fear. It began with confidence, with a quiet, intoxicating sense that we had finally become untouchable. Close your eyes. Remember the radar rooms of the FAA. The air was always cool, filtered to protect the massive computers, and carried the faint scent of ozone and stale coffee. A room of shadows, where the only light was the dim, hypnotic green glow reflecting off the faces of the air traffic controllers. These were our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters. They sat before circular glass screens, watching white dots crawl like glowing embers across a dark field. Each dot was not abstract. Each dot was a metal hull carrying 300 souls, mothers, fathers, children. Each dot was a life held in the palm of a human hand. This was the quiet certainty of the professional class, the belief that we were too important to fail, that our skills were so vital to the circulation of the nation's blood that the system could not breathe without us. Search your memory for the feeling of a middle-class home in the early 80s, the station wagon in the driveway, the quiet confidence of a union-negotiated pension waiting at the end of the tunnel. We believed in the social contract, an unspoken covenant. If you performed a difficult job with absolute precision, the state would protect you. The reassurance was a single word: federal. Federal employees did not get fired. They were the bedrock. They were the machine itself. Inside the towers, the controllers were overworked and exhausted. They asked for shorter hours, not out of comfort, but to manage the mental fatigue of playing God for 8 hours at a time. They believed their collective voice was a physical barrier no government would dare cross. On August 3, 1981, 13,000 controllers walked off the job. They left their headsets resting on the consoles. They stepped out of filtered air into the heavy summer heat, convinced the president would come to them, hat in hand. The dream was the hallucination of being irreplaceable. It lasted exactly 4 hours. At 11 a.m. in the White House Rose Garden, the steel fell. Ronald Reagan did not negotiate. He did not plead. He did not speak in the language of compromise. He read the law. He invoked the Taft-Hartley Act, and he delivered an ultimatum that would rewire the American workforce forever. 48 hours. Return to work or be terminated. The word mattered. Not suspended, not laid off, terminated. Permanent disconnection from the grid. When the 48 hours expired, 11,359 workers were erased. Not just fired, blacklisted for life. Forbidden from ever returning to the federal system they had helped build. The record notes the detail that changed everything. The planes kept flying. The military stepped in. Supervisors filled the seats. Schedules were reduced. The dots kept moving. The system survived the loss of its most skilled cells. And the realization hit like blunt trauma. If they can be replaced, anyone can. The essential worker was a myth. Indispensability was a story we told ourselves to sleep at night. Corporate America watched, and it learned. The word strike was redefined. No longer leverage, an invitation to erasure. Organized labor, the skeletal frame that held the middle class upright, fractured. Wages decoupled from productivity. We worked harder, produced more. The rewards flowed elsewhere. Security dissolved. Hypervigilance became the default state of the human heart. Now, the wound has closed, but the tissue is different. It is tougher, colder, the skin of a survivor. The green screens in the towers filled with new faces. The system declared the skies safe, but inside our homes, something else settled in, a quieter silence. Your parents did not explain August of 1981. They absorbed it. You felt it in the way they never complained about overtime, in the way job security became a mixture of silence and obedience. They became the biological shock absorbers of the post-Patco world. They buried the knowledge of replaceability deep in their throats. They accepted restructuring. They accepted erosion. They held the house together with exhaustion. Every time they told you to keep your head down, they were not giving you advice. They were giving you a survival manual. This was not weakness, it was adaptation. The scars remain. They are in the hesitation before asking for a raise, in the phantom pain triggered by a Friday afternoon company email. These are the physical costs of 1981. This is not just a story about a strike. It is the sealed record of how we lost our voice. The endurance you carry today was paid for by their silence. This is the record. The record remains. The audit is closed. You remain.